Welcome to Biz Dev with Cam. I'm looking so forward to talking to you this morning. Thanks for showing up live if you're here. Thanks for tuning in later if you're coming by. Really appreciate your attention. Really appreciate you checking this out. And hopefully you'll comment, you'll subscribe, you'll like, and do all that fun stuff. Getting into what we're talking about today, the power of giving, the power of listening, the power of seeing opportunity, the power of follow-up, the power of consistency. How do you build relationships? How do you network? How to create opportunity in your life. I want to talk about the ability that you have to go out into the world and actually create opportunity. And one of the best ways that I know how to do that without any skill set whatsoever in terms of actual things to sell, just to go out and sort of see what's out there is networking, right? Start it early, start it often, and get into it. So how do you network? How do you create relationships? Join associations, join clubs. If you're in high school, join a club. Get on a sports team. And in that way, you will meet people and you will interact with them and you will learn how to have conversations around what you like and what you do in a way that creates and fosters rapport, right? So if you create rapport, and Tony Robbins has a great video on rapport. I really suggest you check it out. But if you create rapport with somebody in a great way, now they're more likely to trust you. Now they're more likely to work with you. They're more likely to recommend you. They're more likely to share an opportunity or offer or thing that they have of value to you. So going out and networking, being a part of an association, being a part of a club. And how do you do that effectively? Because I know a lot of folks will join an association or join a group and, oh man, I'm not really getting the value out of this. Maybe you're paying to be a part of an association. Maybe you're paying to be a part of a networking group. How do you get the most value out of that? I think always clearly, if you have certain goals around sales and that sort of thing, that's fantastic. But I would really recommend that if you get involved with an association or a networking group, that your larger goal is to foster community and create long-term relationships. If you're in it for the short-term sale, it's very unlikely that you're going to leave that meeting, that year of activity, and come away with just happiness as opposed to the relationships that you can create and the happiness those relationships will lead to. If everything's transactional, people will treat you transactional. Those relationships won't be very meaningful. That being said, if you're focused, you know what you're selling and you can create relationships and you can sell, that's sort of the sweet spot. Know what you offer, know what you can provide, be able to talk about it, be able to pivot to that subject when necessary, but be in it for the relationship, be in it for the friendship, be in it for the learning opportunities that being a part of an association or a networking group can provide you. All right. So there's a few different things that will allow you to be more successful in your team, in your club, in your networking association, in your association, industry association, knitting group, book club. Give. So how do you give when you go into an association? I'm not talking about donating more money or even necessarily donating more time, although that usually is a part of it. But provide leadership, join up with the committee, with the board. When I joined MPI many years ago, one of the reasons I was able to quickly get in and know a lot of the chapter members was I volunteered for leadership. And in that way, it allowed me to actually get to know the folks of the chapter and take advantages of the resources that they had to offer, because the biggest resource in any association is the people and their knowledge in it, their ability to introduce you to other people. So if you're not in a role where you're giving and you're providing that ability to interact with folks in a meaningful way where you'll be able to really get the value out of it, it's not going to be a great use of your time. So volunteer, get involved with something. A lot of times with associations, they'll have different positions that you can get into that align maybe with some of your job things. So you'll get to learn around what you're doing, participate, and really kind of get in and get friendly with those folks. Now, how can you maximize, if you're giving your time, how can you maximize that particular piece of it and really get something out of it so that you can walk away knowing that you learned something, gained a relationship, maybe even gained business. The power of listening, right? So, I'm in a meeting, I'm talking with somebody, especially if I am focused and I am sales oriented, the listening thing becomes so much more important, because if I'm talking about my product and I'm not listening, I'm turning somebody off. Versus if I'm listening and I really care about what's going on in your life, those selling opportunities come up organically and much more meaningfully so. So if you're selling life insurance, for example, and I'm listening to your story and somebody's dealing with some challenges and financial kind of stuff, hey, let me recommend this product, or let me recommend this person that sells life insurance. They might be able to help you, and there might be even an investment opportunity in it for you as well. It sounds like you could use that kind of thing, right? That's going to be a much more nice leadway or segue into what you sell versus, hey, this is what I do and you should buy it, right? So listening allows for a lot of different opportunities. We're all complex people that have a lot of different things going on. So when I'm listening to somebody, there's usually something. I have a nonprofit that I work with, soundbusiness.org. I'm doing this biz development thing. I have a staffing company. I have kids. I have family. Is there something that I can connect somebody to? Is there some way this person can help me, or some way my family or my folks can help them? So by listening to somebody's story, by listening to somebody's background, by listening to somebody's history and interests, I can tell right away, oh, let me connect you with this person. I was talking with one gentleman the other day. He talked about having studied in college a lot of political stuff, and he enjoyed it. So right away, I have a friend that's in a political agency company. He's created his own political agency company to help campaigns. So I recommended that they get in touch with each other, and that was just from listening. And I think it's a mutual beneficial thing. They'll take advantage of each other's skill sets. One's a really good salesperson. Another one's really active in the political sphere, and their commonalities can come together. And I've connected them, and hopefully they'll think about me when they're looking to connect somebody for business development or staffing or what have you, right? So it all comes back. The power of seeing opportunity. Just because somebody maybe is not in the field that you're interested in selling to, what opportunities can you create in that conversation? What are other ways to help you and your personal brand? Hey, Dorian Williams, hello to you. What other ways are there for you to create opportunities for the folks that you're speaking to? So again, just going back to that listening, what are the ways that we can create opportunities for each other? What's an event that I can invite you to? How can I create goodwill and create a long-term relationship? That's going to be key so that you can build the relationship, provide that networking opportunity for you and for them, right? And then make sure that person stays in your life to provide opportunities over the long term, because they may not want to buy your product now. But if you have any kind of thing that comes up in anybody's life, there's going to be a time when somebody needs something, or somebody knows somebody that needs that thing. So that's how you're going to do it. And just being active and being involved and taking up. Now, the final thing here, or two final things: follow up and consistency, right? If you've ever seen on Facebook or any of these platforms, hey, what superpower? If you could be invisible, or you could fly, or you could have super speed, which would you choose? I would choose to be consistent. I know that wasn't a choice, but they don't offer that because it doesn't sound cool. But if you want to be great at social media, if you want to be great at business, if you want to be great at relationships, show up and be consistent. Follow up consistently. It's something that a lot of folks struggle with. I struggle with it, but being consistent, following up, taking that next step, checking back in consistently, joining a networking association and being consistent with it, and being a good listener consistently, seeking and finding the opportunity consistently. That is going to be your key to success. So when you're thinking about how am I going to improve myself? How am I going to take my business to the next level? How am I going to develop this into a more reputable, powerful company? Consistency and processes that create consistency, right? So if I'm working with my staff, what I want to do is I want to create processes so that every time we do this, not in a boring way, not in a monotonous way, but in a very consistent way. There's certain targets that we know that we got to hit. Hey, this is what we got to do every time. You can write the email any way you want, but these are the certain goals and certain things that we definitely want to hit each time we send a communication, because that consistency, that gives you history, that gives you a record, that gives you a reputation, that gives you clout. Being consistent, being known for something. Now, obviously, you want to be consistently great, right? You want to be consistently awesome. You want to be consistent on your follow-up. You want to be consistently nice. If you're consistent on other things, right? And that's a big deal, right? If you're consistently late, if you're consistently bad tempered, whatever it is, that's not going to work for you. So building those great habits. I haven't read it yet, but I heard a great book is Atomic Habits. I got to get into it. Look at your habits and what are you doing consistently that you don't want to do, and how do you change your life so that you can do consistently what you do want to do. So that's the superpowers that you should be going for. The power of giving, whether it's of your time, of your money, of your person. My advice to you is give of your attention and listen, right? So the power of listening, the power of seeing opportunity. So you're listening and you're engaged and you're looking for the opportunity to help a person. These are how we help create these long-term relationships, and the power of follow-up. So then, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it, and I do it consistently. Those are the ways to grow your network. Those are the ways to create opportunity and create long-term relationships that will benefit you and the folks around you. I hope this has been helpful. Really want to hear your comments. Send me stuff. Maybe I missed something. Maybe you want to add on something. Please don't feel afraid. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will see you tomorrow.